The FUJIFILM GFX100 II is here and I took it for a short spin. Hi guys, I'm Johnny from CineD. Fujifilm just announced its new medium format flagship camera, the GFX100 II, and I had a pre-production unit for a very short time. So this is more of a first impression review rather than a comprehensive one. Yet I'm very determined to get the camera again and film with it more, especially together with some anamorphic lenses. So a new day, a new camera, or are we witnessing something special here? Well, in all honesty, my hat is off to Fujifilm for emphasizing and enhancing the video capabilities of the new camera. True, this is still a hybrid device, hence some of the compromises they made, like the absence of an articulated LCD screen, but all in all, Fujifilm did a great job here, and I'm extremely curious to see how the market will react in adopting it. So let's start by saying that the GFX100 II has an entirely new sensor, although it kept the same 102 megapixel count of its predecessor. Where there is a sensor, there is a processor, and the one found in the GFX100 is the same X-Processor 5 that drives all other latest cameras from Fujifilm. So let's start by saying that this camera has a huge selection of formats in up to 8K resolution with different image circle coverage and recording codecs. Out of the box, if you are looking for the best internal recording codec, simply use ProRes HQ. Uncompressed 12-bit external recording output via the large HDMI connector is supported, of course, too, but for the first time ever in a Fujifilm camera, ProRes can be recorded externally via USB-C to external SSD too. If you are looking for the fastest sensor readout in order to minimize the rolling shutter effect, choose to use 4K 60p, which thankfully is not cropped. If resolution is your top priority, then choose to use the 5.8K recording option. Horizontally, the camera will use the full sensor width and will crop vertically so that the end result will look like a 2:35:1 Cine aspect ratio. Now, if absolute resolution is the thing you're after, you can of course use the 8K resolution that this camera offers, but take in account that the image will be cropped by a factor of 1.24. From my experience, the image still looks nice and crispy even with this method of cropping into the sensor. By the way, if you take a close look at the menu, you will find a 3:2 recording option, but mind you that this is not a true open gate, but rather another recording format choice. With this camera, Fujifilm created a new menu option to choose between 4 filming formats, like GF, Premista, 35mm, which is equivalent to full frame, and anamorphic. Depending on the format you choose, the camera will adapt itself to automatically adjust to the sensor portion that can be recorded. Speaking of which, this is the first time that Fujifilm takes anamorphic filming seriously and allows 2 fundamental things. One is simply to de-squeeze the image for viewing purposes like many other cameras do. The second is truly a breakthrough, as the camera will allow recording in 8K cropped with ×2 anamorphic lens and de-squeeze the image while filming. After checking with Fujifilm, I can confirm that this option will give the best anamorphic recording quality, and I'm looking forward to trying it by myself in the near future. Now, if different squeeze factors are required, it will have to be manipulated on your favorite NLE. Okay, let's tackle other features, and let me start with the new autofocus wide tracking, which I find extremely useful for documentary work. Simply place the focus square on the object you want to track, and the camera will do the rest most of the time successfully. Another improvement is the ability to connect the Fujifilm fan to the camera in order to combat the possibility of overheating. Personally, I did not encounter any issues, but for those who are working professionally, I recommend considering this device. I also find the camera to work very well in low light conditions, so using higher ISO values is not an issue. For those who are filming in f/log2, please be advised that the minimum ISO can be set to 800. By the way, in the menu, there is one very interesting feature by the name f/log2 derange priority. Apparently, it's supposed to improve the camera's dynamic range, but on the expense of a greater rolling shutter. This option won't be available in all recording formats and frame rates. We will of course test this option in our lab test when we get the camera with the final firmware installed. The EVF is large and clear, but what Fujifilm wisely added is the possibility to control the magnification ratio and reduce it to a manageable size so that all the frame is visible at once. For control freaks, the sub-menu is now very customizable between the photo and video modes. I really appreciate the level of choosing functions for viewing that Fujifilm allows here. In case you noticed, the new GFX100 II is much smaller than the original GFX100 camera, as Fujifilm managed to shave off the built-in battery grip. And not only that, but also there is no need to buy an additional transmission grip for sending material to the cloud, as Fujifilm managed to squeeze it all into the body, keeping the camera size and weight as low as possible. All those high-resolution formats deserves a more advanced recording media, so now one recording slot is dedicated to accommodate CF Express Type B card. So no camera is perfect, and maybe the two main concerns I have are the following. I'll start with the camera grip. For people with small hands like mine, the camera won't be so comfortable to hold. The grip is simply too big. But more importantly, I would like to mention the image quality. It is really beautiful, but to my opinion, it is too clean. It seems as if the noise reduction is working hard to smooth things. True, you can dial down the noise reduction to -3, but I wish that the results could be more visible. Now, not all types of noise are harmful, and in my opinion, a bit more picture texture is missing. Next to that, for future GFX offerings, I hope that Fujifilm can consider the following. Implementing a higher frame rate in 4K resolution, as currently it is limited to up to 120 frames per second in Full HD only. Having a fully articulated LCD screen. And unlike the modestly priced XS20, in this camera, subject detection cannot be set to auto. To my opinion, this option is greatly missed. The in-body stabilization system is generally fine, although I wish it could be even more prominent. But maybe the biggest request that I have is to take the inner bit of this camera with all its functionality and try to implement it in a dedicated cinema camera body. I'm sure that Fujifilm can only gain from finally having an A camera on the market. Last but not least, the new GFX100 II will set you back $7,499 USD, which is way less than the original GFX100 and $1,500 USD more than the GFX100S. But at the end of the day, it is a different beast altogether, with much higher and refined video capabilities. Now, I will be interested to hear what you guys are thinking about the new GFX100 II. Is medium format something that you've been considered in the past? And is this new camera raising your curiosity to finally try one? Please share with us your comments below. Thank you guys for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.